What's up, you guys? We're back for a second live stream today. I did one earlier. How's everyone doing? Hey, Chocolate Ice. Glad you could make it again. Hello, Hef. Hopefully my audio is good. When I watched the playback of the one earlier, my audio was not great. This microphone, I love the look of it, but it gives me so many problems. So hopefully it's good. Maybe you guys can let me know in the chat. Yeah, so right now it's about 4:20 p.m. for me. Earlier I did one at 11 a.m. I've said before I want to not only start streaming more often, but at different times of the day, because I know people are located all over the world. I want to make sure everyone can join whenever they can, whenever it's good for them. So yeah, hopefully some people who missed it earlier are here now. Hey, Landon. Glad you could join us again. Hello, Ethan. Hello, Scott. Glad you could join us. I'm good. I hope you're good as well. Yes, Landon, I am back. Sean is here. He says sound is good. Awesome. All right, cool. So how's everyone doing today? I figured we'll talk about some Scream theories like we always kind of do. Maybe some Scream 7 rumors. And some other movies and TV shows, you know? We don't have to just, you know, stick to Scream. We can talk about some other movies and shows. You guys were giving me some recommendations earlier, which is awesome. I wrote down some of them. Let's see. Scott said, if you have to choose between the 3 Pokemon movies, the originals, which one do you think is the best? So I'm not familiar with the movies. I know we were talking earlier how I did used to watch the Pokemon show back in the day, but you know, I wasn't a huge Pokemon fan. So I'm not familiar with the movies, unfortunately. Hey, Scream fan. Glad you could join us again. Landon asked, do you think Officer Richards, cop in Scream 2, was gay? Sydney says she thinks he is at the lunch table. I think he is because of something that he says in the car right before he dies. He says something like, don't ask, don't tell, which is something with like in the army or I don't know, like the Marines or something. That's a saying for that, like because they frown upon that there. So yes, I do think he is. Alex says, thanks for doing another live stream. You've been home all day. No problem. I love hanging out with you guys. Oh, you said you haven't been feeling well. I'm sorry to hear that. Hopefully you feel better soon. But I'm glad I can bring you some joy today. Ethan asks, was Stu the Ghostface who killed Brooks and Gail? He had the knife above his head when attacking Gail. Yes, I 100% think that Stu is the one who killed Brooks and attacked Gail. I've talked about it a bunch on my channel. I've done a video on it. So I've talked about it in like multiple different videos. I might have first mentioned it in like my 50 Stu Clues video, but that video is super long. It's like 30 minutes. And So I did do a separate video on this because I feel like, you know, when you have 50 clues in a 30-minute video, things can kind of get lost in there. So I did do a separate video about this. I don't know if you've seen it. Feel free to check it out. It's in my Stu Macher playlist. It's called Proof That Stu Attacked Gale in Scream 6. There are a ton of clues in this scene alone that I think prove it was Stu. I'm not the only one who believes this. There are a lot of other creators on here who think that way, like Marcus from I Shot Him 6 Times, Craven Something Scary. I'm sure you guys are familiar with them. Yeah, there's no doubt in my mind that this was Stu. For sure. Hey, Random Edits. Who's your favorite, Mickey or Charlie? Definitely Charlie. I think Charlie is underrated. I've talked about this a bunch on my channel. Yeah, Charlie is in my top 5. Sean says the curve is basically Stu if he survived and was given a second chance to carry on and plan his sequel. Yeah, when I first watched The Curve, I totally thought that. Like, Matthew Lillard was so giving Stu vibes in this movie. We were talking about The Curve earlier on the stream. I don't know how many of you guys here now were there earlier. But yeah, if you have not seen The Curve, you have to. It's like one of the best Matthew Lillard movies, in my opinion. Although he does have a lot of movies that I have not seen yet, I will admit. But yeah, he definitely, there's a lot of moments in The Curve that give me Stu vibes. Scott says Sydney's roommate was killed by Ghostface. I think it was Mrs. Loomis. Nikki escaped. Who is Nikki? So if you look very closely when the killer stops chasing Sydney, you can see a woman's eyes under the mask. I think this is... Oh, do you mean Mickey rather than Nikki? I do think it was Mickey that killed Hallie. Because of... After the reveal with Mickey, he has like a gash on his forehead, which happened from the whole cop car scene. That Ghostface like hits their head. So I do think it was Mickey who killed Hallie. Plus, like, Nancy Loomis was with Gail. Like, after Dewey gets stabbed and Gail sees Cotton and thinks it's Cotton who's the killer, Gail runs out to make a phone call to the cops, and Nancy Loomis is there. So I definitely think it was Mickey who killed Hallie. LOL Hello says, I honestly think Cotton would have beaten Roman if he wasn't hit in the head with a golf club. It's a shame that Cotton died. He's not my favorite. I've said this before. Cotton is not one of my favorite characters, but, you know, I wish he lived. So yeah, it's unfortunate. Jojo says, do you watch Supernatural? That's my favorite show, to be honest. I also watch pro wrestling, Stranger Things, top 3 things I watch. I do watch Supernatural. I have seen the whole show. Back in the day, I was like obsessed with it. It's no longer one of my favorites. Like, but I actually, so every day it airs on cable on TNT, and I actually was watching a few episodes the other day. First time I watched it since the show ended, like a couple years ago. It's a great show. It's definitely like horror. It's a horror show. I like Jared Padalecki, Jensen Ackles. I enjoyed the ending of Supernatural, the finale. I thought the way they ended it was great. I do think that the show carried on for a long time, like unnecessarily. It was 15 seasons long, as I'm sure you know. Um, and there are rumors that they're making a 16th season. I don't know if you heard that, but yeah, and it's like, I don't know why they want to bring the show back when it went on for 15 years and it literally just ended. Like, people have not missed the show long enough for them to bring it back. And just because the ending was so perfect, I don't want to spoil it for anyone in the chat who hasn't seen it. But I thought the ending was perfect, and I don't see how they can carry on with the show after that ending. That's okay, Alex. No worries. I saw your second comment. Hello, Damien. How are you? It could also be Quinn. Didn't she say her favorite Ghostface was Stu? So I guess you're referring to who killed Brooks and attacked Gail. I know, like, Quinn admitted to this, but I think she's lying the same way that I think Amber was lying about killing Dewey. You guys know, I'm sure most of you here know, maybe some of you don't. I think Stu's alive and leading a cult of ghost faces. I think Amber, Richie, Jason, and Greg were all a part of the cult. So as cult members, you want to protect the leader. You know, you take the fall for things, and especially with Stu being in hiding still, it's not time yet for him to reveal himself. So of course, like, Amber's gonna say she killed Dewey. She can't say it was Stu, you know, at least not until Scream 7. Same with Scream 6. Now, I don't know how I feel exactly about Quinn being in the cult. I'm not sure about that, but I definitely think it was Stu, and I think Quinn was lying. So I guess she would be a part of the cult. And the fact that she says Stu is her favorite, like, yeah, because she worships him as a cult member, I guess, and idolizes him. Scream fan asked, what is your top favorite Ghostface killers? So I ranked the Ghostfaces like a year ago at this point. And definitely Billy Stu. Billy and Stu are top 2. I like Jill and Charlie. And I can't remember who I said was my 5th. It definitely wasn't Scream 6 or Scream 5 killers. It was probably either like Nancy or Roman. I'm gonna go with Nancy as the 5th one just because Roman's not my favorite. So yeah, I guess Billy, Stu, Jill, Charlie, and Nancy. Okay, I don't know what's going on here with all these spam comments, but please don't. Hey, Eunice. Glad you could join us again. Scott says, I would love to return to Sydney's old house in 7. That'll be the perfect place for her and Stu to have the final battle. What do you think? I personally want the final battle to be at Stu's house. Don't know if they're going to do that because we were there in Scream 5. I personally would still like to see that. We could potentially see Sydney's old house again if Neil Prescott is still alive, which we talked about yesterday, I think, on the stream. There is a deleted scene in Scream 4 of Dewey saying that Neil is dead, but because it's a deleted scene, they could choose to ignore that. And maybe Neil is alive, still living in Sydney's old house. Maybe we can see him again, with Sydney's kids now. He's a grandfather. We'll see, I guess. Nancy only wanted to kill the people associated with Billy, so she had no motive to kill Cece and Hallie. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I feel like Mickey did do most of the work. I feel like her only kill might be Randy, like you said, because Randy was talking crap about Billy. Did you know in the original script of Scream 5, Tara and Amber were dating? Yes, I did know that. I wonder why they chose to change it. I was watching Scream 5 last night, and I was thinking that to myself, like, there is still some, like, a vibe there that I get with Amber being, like, protective of Tara. So I wonder, excuse me, I wonder why they chose to take that out of the script. Scott asks, since Amber was killed, what do you think is going to happen to the house now? Is it going to be abandoned or have families still living there? Is it going to be for sale? I think Stu will buy it. That's a good question. I don't know. I don't know. I don't have an answer. Maybe Stu will buy it. Or I wonder if Amber's parents will keep living there? I don't know. Did you know there was a Scooby-Doo episode in Supernatural? Yes, I did know that. I thought that was so funny. I did like that about Supernatural, how they got really crazy with it at times, especially when, it's been on for 15 years. Sometimes you gotta get a little crazy, change things up. Thank you, Zork. I appreciate that. Hey, Anissa. Favorite scary movie, Scream. Definitely. Scream fan says, I have a theory in Scream 7, if Stu and Jill would be in it, then Stu is making a cult, which in my opinion will fail to capture Sydney. Then Stu would need a partner. Jill is in jail. Stu releases Jill. I wish Jill could be in it. Don't know if it's gonna happen. I've said before, like, that was the original plan. Jill was supposed to survive. If Scream 5 had happened back a decade ago, she would have lived. So there is always a small chance. However, if they're going to bring back Stu, I don't know if they would want to also bring back Jill. That might be a little bit too much, even though I personally would like that. However, Emma Roberts did say she feels she's not done with the franchise. So there is always a chance. We got a super chat from Zork the Dark One. Thank you so much. What do you think of the idea that Roman, being Jill's cousin, is what inspired her? They both wanted Sydney's stardom and to be the sole survivor. That's definitely interesting. I talked about this recently. Like, I guess, okay, so there was a deleted scene, apparently, where Jill talks about Roman being Sydney's brother. But before I realized there was the deleted scene, I asked you guys, did Jill know that Roman was her cousin? Like, did Sydney make it known to the world that this was her brother? Because she could have just kept it to herself and maybe no one would find out. But yeah, because of the deleted scene that Jill apparently did know, yeah, I'm sure Roman did inspire her a little bit. Yeah, I never thought about it like that before. For sure. Thank you so much for your super chat, and thank you for being a mod. I appreciate it. And glad you could make this live stream because I know you missed the one from earlier. That's why I want to do streams at different times of the day. So, you know, if you missed one, you can join the next one. Draco believes Stu is alive. I am with you. Alex asked, how likely do you think it is that Randy was killed by Stu? As you pointed out, Mrs. Loomis would not have known that Randy had a crush on Sydney, but Stu definitely knew about this. I'd like to think it's a little likely that Stu is the one who killed Randy. And I actually didn't come up with that idea on my own. It was from Nerdbox here on YouTube, who I always shout out in these live streams because they have a great channel. They have a ton of theories, Stu theories. And I first heard from their video that Stu could have been the one to kill Randy. I think it would be really cool if it was, especially because, you know, Randy's a big character. He's a legacy character. And you guys know, I think Stu killed Dewey, attacked Gale. So it makes sense for Stu to go after legacy characters. Rather than someone like Nancy Loomis or Quinn, like, it would just mean more if it was Stu. Kalian, I hope I'm saying that right. Stu better return. Yes, I'm with you. Anissa says, if they do a new trilogy, Stu will pop up in the third one. I can see it now. I hope it's Scream 7. I hope it's not Scream 9. Although I'll take him returning in Scream 9 over not returning at all. I just don't want to wait that long. We've already been waiting so long. But yeah, it's definitely a possibility. Sean says, how lame would it be if they brought Stu back as a good guy who ends up helping Sid? Yeah, I wouldn't like that. I hope not. I'm with you. That would be pretty lame. Hey Reagan, it's your 6-month anniversary of being a channel member and subscriber. Awesome. I'm so happy to have you here. I really appreciate you and the support, being a member. Glad that you could make it to this live stream because I know you missed the one earlier. Eunice asked, are you interested in real life crime cases or only in movies? Really just in movies. I'm not really into like true crime. I like to keep it fictional. Yeah. Ethan asked, can you do a Ghostface ranking video? So I have. You can scroll back on my channel. I believe I have a ranking playlist where all my different rankings are in there. I did a couple of different ones for Ghostfaces. I did like overall ghost faces. I did a ranking based on just their motives and also based on just their reveals. So I do have quite a few. Definitely go check them out in my ranking playlist. Draco asks, do you think Tara was a secret Ghostface mastermind killer? I don't know. I do have some theories on this. If you want to check out my Tara theory videos, I did have a theory that she would be a Ghostface in Scream 7. Don't know. I mean, she's not going to be in Scream 7, so I guess that's not going to happen. But I think my theory made a lot of sense. There were a lot of clues that could point towards this. And I just wonder if Jenna was going to be in the movie, if they would have done that. Because I did talk about this earlier on the live stream, so sorry if some of you are hearing me repeat this, but you know, these new movies mirroring the originals as far as who the Ghostface killer is. Scream 1 and 5, it was the boyfriend. Scream 2 and 6, it was the parent of the boyfriend. Scream 3, we had Sydney's half sibling. And Tara is Sam's half sibling. So, and I definitely think it would have been shocking because even if some people would kind of be expecting it because of the whole half sibling thing, it would still be a shock because we've gotten to know and love Tara and, you know, spend 2 movies with her where we think she's a good guy, only for it to be later revealed she's a ghost face, as opposed to Roman, who we didn't grow to love and care about, and Sydney didn't even know who he was. So for Tara to be a ghost face, that would be like the ultimate betrayal for Sam. Just imagine that. Like, that would be pretty crazy. Ethan asks, who do you think killed Cece Cooper? I think it was Mickey. I'm not positive. Sometimes we don't really like know for certain these things unless, you know. I think it was Mickey. Leslie will buy the Stumacher house. Maybe. Hey Isaiah, how you doing? Let's see who else we got in the chat. Sometimes my chat rolls away from me and I lose my spot. Anissa says this will be the new trilogy. In 7, Sydney learns there's a Ghostface cult and wonders if Stu is still alive. Her daughter's classmate and a friend would be killers. Interesting. Well, I do hope Stu is revealed in 7. Hey Damien, thanks so much for being here. In the opening title of Scream 96, when you hear the gunshots and the screams, do you think those are the screams of Maureen Prescott's death? Interesting. Maybe. Never thought about that before. It's definitely possible. That would be cool if it was. If you were the director of Scream 7, what would you do? Well, you know, I would definitely bring Stu back. Other than that, I don't know. I have to think about it. Maybe I'll do a video on that. It's a good idea. Hey, Russell. Glad you could be here. Yes, everyone, please smash that like button. It helps the channel to grow. It helps to boost this live stream out to people. I really want Maureen to be the opening kill in Scream 7 since we never see anything about it in the franchise. Yeah, I did a video on this. Like, it should be a flashback to Maureen's murder for sure. It would be something new and different. Not only have we never had a flashback in general, but to just have that for the opening scene would be very cool. We got a super chat from Russell. Thank you so much, Russell. Do you think it was Stu who killed Dewey? I can't see Amber killing Dewey. Yes, I do think it was Stu. For a few different reasons. I was just watching Scream 5 last night, and I was like, yeah, no way this is Amber. Just the fact that, well, first of all, I will say that, so you know how Sam is stalling Ghostface before she can arrive? And then she shows up in the elevator with Dewey, and Dewey shoots at them, and Ghostface, runs away. This run that Ghostface does is very similar to Stu in the opening scene of the first movie and Ghostface in Gail's scene in Scream 6, which I also believe was Stu. So that's one little clue right there. And just the fact that Ghostface says it's an honor to Dewey, it would be more of an honor to Stu because they have history together. And also the fact that when Ghostface and Dewey are fighting, Dewey, Ghostface seems to be strong, and I just have a hard time believing that Dewey couldn't just throw Amber off of him. I'm sorry, but she is a 17-year-old girl. It would just make more sense for a grown man like Stu to have a little bit more dominance over Dewey compared to Amber. There also is another little clue that I have pointed out on my channel, but I haven't talked about it in a while. Tara's at the hospital by herself before the whole Dewey death scene goes down, and Richie shows up, and Tara hits him in the head with the phone, and he says, "Did you just hit me with the phone?" Which is a callback to the Stu scene in the first movie. And I just think, Guy Busick, who is one of the writers and a big Stu is Alive believer, is really good at planting these little clues and callbacks to the original and Stu. So to answer your question, yes, I think Stu is the one who killed Dewey. Thank you for your super chat, Russell. I appreciate it. Let's see who else we got here. Let's see. Sorry, guys. We got Denisha here. Hey, Denisha. Do you think it was Kevin Duvall who killed Kieran in the season 2 finale? I don't know. It might be. They kind of made it seem like it was him. I wish we could get some answers. Very frustrating that we don't know. I think it's definitely possible it was Emma's dad. Do you think Christina Carpenter will be in Scream 7? I sure hope so. I've said before, I do think there is a way to include her even without her two daughters. She went to high school with Sydney. She dated Billy. So I hope so. And apparently in script leaks, she was going to be in it. So, oh yes, Barry, I totally forgot to mention that Dewey got gutted, just like Stu said in Scream 1. Yes, thank you for pointing that out. Anissa watched the Nerdbox videos. Yeah, they have great Stu Clues videos. If you guys are not familiar with Nerdbox, definitely go subscribe to their channel. They have a series of Stu Clues. Yeah, for sure. They think Stu's kind of been in the background of every sequel. Very interesting. New Nightmare treatment on new Scream trilogy. All actors back playing themselves, with Billy and Stu snapping, blaming the franchise. I would like to one day see New Nightmare for Scream. Not anytime soon, though. I think there's a lot of things we need to wrap up. It could be a fun little like spin-off movie. You know, there's rumors that they want to not only make more sequels, but some spin-offs, TV shows. So yeah, I would like to see this one day. Just, I don't think for this new trilogy. It could be its own like separate thing, hopefully. Who stabbed Dewey in Scream 1? Was it Billy or Stu? I think it was Billy. I'm not sure though. Have you ever met a Scream actor? Never. I have not. Hopefully one day, although I would be so nervous, honestly. Like, I don't know. But yeah, I gotta go to a convention one of these days. Could you imagine if that was Stu who killed Kieran in the season 2 finale on his way from Lakewood to Woodsboro? That would be crazy. A crazy way to connect the show with the movies. And I would love it. The more Stu, the better. Zork says, I think Roman and Jill would have been the deadliest Ghostface duo. Possibly, yeah. They definitely would be pretty deadly. I do think that Billy and Jill would be a good duo, though. They're both pretty crazy. Draco says, I definitely believe Kevin framed Brandon and killed Kieran in season 2. Yeah, it kind of looked like it. It's so frustrating we'll never find out. Russell says, Richie needs to stay in The Boys. He was terrible as a Ghostface killer. Amber did all the work. I've never seen The Boys. Is it any good? Like, I hear it's really good, and people tell me that I should watch it all the time. What's your favorite Ghostface quote? Ooh, this is tough because there's so many good ones. I mean, I do personally love Ghostface in Scream 4. I think Charlie on the phone was great. Like, I love when he's talking to Rebecca on the phone in the parking lot, and he says, like, you don't sound like you're in a hospital. I can put you there in the morgue. That's one of my favorite quotes. And Charlie also says something to Sydney, like, he'll slice her eyelids in half. That's just what comes to mind off the top of my head. But my favorite quote would probably be something from the original, because you can't beat the original. Anissa says, the Carpenter story needs a finale. I don't really agree with how 6 ended. I'm with you. It's unfortunate. Hopefully one day, I don't know, like, maybe one day they can come back. I know Jamie Kennedy thinks that Melissa will be back one day. That's just him speculating, you know, he doesn't know for sure. I wonder how they will address it in Scream 7. Will they mention the Carpenter sisters? Will they say where they are, or will they just ignore it completely? Will they not even mention them? Stu in the Scream TV series would be epic. Yep. Totally agree. Hello, Screen Fun. Glad you could join us. If all the Ghostface killers were locked in a room, who would come out alive? Interesting question. Can there only be one person who comes out alive? In that case, I don't know. It's tough to say because they all get bested in the end. I'm gonna go with Billy. Did Amber kill Judy Hicks and Richie kill Wes Hicks because the kill styles are different? Or is it the same Ghostface who killed both of them? That is a good question. I don't know for sure. I was just watching Scream 5 last night and was wondering the same thing. I know Zach Cherry has a Who Killed Who for Scream 5 on his channel. And I think that he thinks it's 2 separate ghost faces. One of them did Judy, the other one did Wes. I don't remember who he thinks did who. I'm going to assume that Richie killed Wes just because of how it was just one slow stab to the neck, very efficient, which reminds me of Vince's kill, which was just one stab to the neck. And Amber's style is much more frantic and chaotic and stabby. And Judy was stabbed a lot. So if I had to guess, I would say Amber did Judy, Richie did Wes. But I guess when I rewatched it last night, I should have done it with the intention of making my Who Killed Who video, because that is the only sequel that I have not done a Who Killed Who for. But I totally forgot to pay close attention. Barry says, I don't know what my favorite Ghostface quote was, but I know the creepiest one for me was, I want to know who I'm looking at. Yeah, definitely creepy. I was actually thinking about that last night when I was rewatching 5, because there's sort of a similar quote in Scream 5's opening scene when Ghostface calls Tara by her name and she's freaked out. So definitely was a callback to that line. For sure, that one was super creepy. The Boys is a cool show. Yeah, maybe one day I'll watch it. Draco likes the quote when Jill says, "I don't need friends, I need fans." That is a good quote. Jill has a lot of good lines. I believe Sam might give into her killer Loomis darkness in the future. Maybe, you know, if she was going to be in Scream 7, I wonder if that's where it would have led to. Richie killed 0 people? What do you mean? That's crazy. um so you think Amber killed everyone? I feel like Richie definitely killed Vince because Amber was at the police station, wasn't she? Getting questioned, which she says later on, I believe. And there is that deleted scene where they show everyone at the police station after the whole bar scene. So I don't know how Amber would have gotten away from her friends to kill Vince. Interesting. Where do you place Scream 6 in your top favorite Scream movies? It's my favorite one after the first one. I think it's my second to last. And I still love Scream 6. Don't get me wrong. I love every Scream movie. But I think for me it goes the first one, Scream 4, Scream 2, Scream 5, Scream 6, Scream 3. I do like Scream 5 more than Scream 6. I feel like a lot of people prefer Scream 6 over 5, but I never choose a killer based on the style since it's a stunt performer. I always go with logistics of their whereabouts during a kill. That is a good point. But I do think sometimes there's like little clues. Like with Stu, for example, his signature move is 2 hands above the head. So anytime we see that in the first movie, I think that is Stu. But yeah, I definitely take into account where they are during the kill, which is why I think Richie killed Vince because Amber was at the police station. Hey, Dino. We've missed you in every live stream. I've been streaming like every day this past week. Glad you could make it. Hopefully, you can make some more in the future. I'm going to be streaming a lot more often now and at different times of the day. I never go with deleted scenes since they aren't officially canon. Richie had an alibi. Yeah, so I tend to not go off of deleted scenes either. But Richie's alibi was that he was watching Stab and Sam fell asleep. Sam fell asleep at the hospital, so he could have snuck away. I don't know. now I'm not sure. I gotta rewatch Scream 5 again. Scream 5 was better written than Scream 6. Yeah, I think so. I feel like Scream 5 felt more like a Scream movie than Scream 6. I'm a bit disappointed that Kevin Williamson isn't also writing 7. The other writers are good, but they're not Williamson. Yeah, it is a bummer, but I feel like he's definitely going to have some input. I don't know, he's not being credited as a writer for now, but I imagine he would have some kind of input, hopefully. But we'll see. Although, as a director, I imagine he's not going to let them like butcher his movie. Eunice gifted a membership. Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Does the fact that Amber Quinn's height changes when they're Ghostface bother you? Yes. It does bother me. I know they've said before, like, you can't pay attention to height. It does frustrate me. For sure. I don't see Amber's alibi as strong as Richie's. The logistics of Richie sneaking out, traveling that far, and getting back without Sam or Tara waking up are just too slim. You do have a point. I guess Amber was closer in proximity. But how could she get away from everyone? I don't know. Thanks, Ethan. I appreciate you. I appreciate you always joining the streams. My favorite Scream quote is from Scream 96 when Billy says, "What's the matter, Sydney? Looks like you've seen a ghost." That is a good one. There's a lot of good quotes in the first movie. I really want a Scream movie to play out where we know who the killer is at the beginning. Sadly, we nearly got that in 6. Yeah, it definitely would be cool to see. I for sure thought Jason was going to at least make it until halfway through. I was surprised to see him die in the opening. Yeah, that would be cool. Favorite Ghostface reveal has to be Billy. I mean, definitely the both of them, like Billy and Stu. But out of those two, probably Billy. You just can't beat that one. Randy or Dewey? I gotta go with Randy. I love Dewey, but Randy's possibly my second favorite character after Stu. I love Randy so much. And it sucks that Randy didn't make it that far. I think he should have at least made it to Scream 3. Or at least the final act of Scream 2. He just was taken out way too soon. And when you think about it, like, Randy really doesn't have that much screen time. He's not in that many scenes, but he's made a big impact. So definitely Randy. What is your favorite scene, putting aside Drew Barrymore's opening? My favorite scene is Randy's rules in the first movie. That scene is absolutely iconic to me. I love it. It's the best. Hey, Greg. Thanks for joining the live stream. Your favorite reveal was Roman because it meant so much as the half-brother. So I've said before, I think the idea of Roman on paper is very cool, like Sydney having a long lost brother. But I just think the execution was not done very well. Just the fact that Sydney did not have any scenes with him. She did not know who he was. When she first sees him, her face is literally like, "Who are you?" So, like I said, the idea of him is cool, but I didn't like the execution. What was your first reaction to Dewey's death? Shock. I was in shock. Very sad. Every time I watch it, it's just very upsetting. If Stu returns in Scream 7, do you think he will have a partner or will go solo? Well, I do think he's going to be leading a cult of ghost faces. Will he have a partner leading the cult? Maybe. It could go either way, where he's just like the solo leader leading this cult, but maybe he'll have kind of like a partner leading the cult with him. I don't know. What death was more sad, Derek or Cotton? So I've said before, Cotton is not my favorite character. I don't really care for him. And Derek's death was pretty sad. I feel like it gets overlooked because he's not like a fan favorite character. But when you think about it, him pleading with Sydney to believe him over Mickey, it's very sad. So I'm going to go with Derek. Richie is innocent. Justice for Richie. I don't know. I feel like he has to have at least one kill. I don't know. That's just me, though. How old were you when you first watched Scream? I don't remember. I remember being a kid when I first saw it. I can't remember the first time I watched it. Yeah, I don't know. I wish I could remember the first time I saw it. Do you think Scream 3 Sydney would beat Scream 6 Sam in a fight? Huh. I don't know. I feel like Sam is pretty tough. So I think Sam would win. Sorry. Don't hate me for that. Does the absence of Wes Craven hurt Scream 5 in your opinion? I mean, a little maybe. Like, nothing can compare to a Wes Craven Scream. So yeah, it's definitely not the same. I'm sure it would be so much better if Wes Craven was here. Do you think Mickey will return in Scream 7? No. I know there's some people out there who would think that. He wasn't shot in the head, I don't believe. He was shot quite a few times. So technically, it's possible if he wasn't shot in the head, but no, I don't think there's any reason to bring him back. And I wouldn't really care to see him again. I do like him. Bye, Scream fan. Glad you could join us for as long as you could. They could have kept Roman alive in jail to give Sid advice for future ghost faces. I mean, he was shot in the head, so only if they chose to not shoot him in the head could that have happened. But I do think at the time, Scream 3 was intended to be the final movie. So I don't think they wanted to leave anything open ended like that. I think it was meant to be very final. We got a super chat from Dim. Thank you so much. If Stu was your brother, do you help him to hide in one? Ooh, that's a good question. I don't know. I guess it depends. It's one of those things like you really won't know until the time comes. I feel like I possibly would. It depends on how like twisted and sadistic the person actually is. I feel like if Stu was my brother, like he probably could convince me that it was all Billy, like Billy did all of this and he's trying to like frame me. um so maybe I might help him hide. Thank you so much for your super chat. I appreciate it. And I appreciate you being here for the stream. Thank you. Dino skips the Dewey death scene altogether. Yeah. Um it's a hard watch. I don't skip it, but definitely pains me. Same with Randy's death. Have you watched Red Eye by Wes Craven? Yes, I have. I love that movie. I remember watching it back in the day. Loved it back then because I really like Rachel McAdams. And I rewatched it again like maybe a year ago. Very good movie. Yes. If any of you here have not seen Red Eye, definitely go see it. Derek's death gets more sad over time because you realize how much he actually loved Sydney and how great he would have been for her. She deserves someone good. I'm with you. Yeah, he was a good boyfriend. And yes, every time I watch his death scene, it kills me because just he was a good boyfriend pleading for her to believe him and then just gets shot. Ugh, painful. Alessandro says, I love the idea of Stu coming back in Scream 7, but we've been talking so much about that, and I'm afraid it would feel too predictable. I know what you mean, but it's one of those things where even though I expect it, I still will be mind blown if they go through with it and pull it off. Like, because it's one of those things I'm thinking, like, will they or won't they? So if it happens, I still will be shocked. And I won't be able to contain myself. I'll probably have to leave the theater. If Stu is alive, where do you think he's been this whole time? I personally like to believe he's been in an insane asylum. I don't know. I think he's just been in hiding, doing his own thing, like keeping a low profile. I'm not crazy about the idea that he's in an insane asylum. Although, I wouldn't be opposed to it. I know some people think he's been in jail. I personally really don't like the jail idea, just because I feel like Sydney and people would know if he's been in jail. The insane asylum is a little bit more believable, just because, if he was a minor when he got taken away, then maybe they can't like release that information to the public. But I just like the idea that he's been in hiding, like changed his identity, got a fake ID. I don't know. Hopefully we get some answers. Hopefully they fill us in on what he's been up to and don't just like brush over it. uh, with the whole they're not dead if they don't get shot in the head. But I mean, he got turned into Swiss cheese by Gail and Sydney. I think he's gone. Yeah, Mickey. He got shot like a million times. It's not looking too good for him. Have you watched the series You or Dexter? Yes, I've seen both. I love both. I love Dexter more. Dexter is amazing. Yeah, I'm excited for You season 5. I mentioned on the stream earlier today that I actually got to see them filming a little bit of it on the Upper East Side of Manhattan. I was like right next to Penn Badgley on set. I was literally on the set. I stumbled upon them filming and I was, in the way of them filming. So they told me to hide in like a doorway of an apartment building. And I got to see him film a few shots of a scene walking by. So I'm going to look out for that scene and know that I was technically in it in the background. Alex asked, would you like for a Scream movie to take place at an isolated hotel during a snowstorm? This would be the same setting that The Shining had. It is one of my ideal settings for a Scream movie. That would definitely be cool and different. I definitely want to see snow in a Scream movie. For sure, that would be cool. Do you think they should market Stu returning or keep it a secret? The hype for Spider-Man No Way Home was huge because they marketed dead characters returning. I personally do not want them to reveal Stu's going to be in it before the movie. They could maybe tease like someone's coming back. I don't know. I definitely don't want to know that Stu's coming back for sure. I want it to be a surprise. So I don't want to end the stream yet. I still want to go for like 30 more minutes, but I do have to break one of Randy's rules and I will be right back. Don't go anywhere. All right, I'm back. I survived. Let's get back to the chat. I know I'm so behind in the chat. I try my best to get to everyone. If you have a pressing question that you want me to answer, feel free to send in a super chat because those take priority and I do appreciate them. So you can definitely send in a super chat, but I will try to get to everyone before we end the stream. I'm going to go for like another 30, maybe 40 minutes. Let's see. Fiasco Stu says, what happens if Stu comes back and they finally kill him in the next movie? How would you feel about it? Because I feel like you need closure with Stu. I wouldn't hate it. I just want him to be back. And I do expect them to kill him. So, you know, I don't expect him to stick around forever. Although it would be cool if he can come back in 7 and get away with it at the end and carry on to be in Scream 8. Just because, so I would love to have Stu in a full movie, but at the same time, I don't think he should be revealed until the final act. So that would be a good way to have him revealed in the final act of 7, survive, and go on to Scream 8 so we can get him in a full movie. Will they do that? I don't know. But yeah, I expect they will kill him. And it will probably be in a definitive way, like chopping his head off. So there's no debate anymore. Bye, Anissa. Thanks for sticking around for as long as you could. Dexter is my job? What do you mean? You do what Dexter does? That's cool. Oh my gosh, the chat keeps scrolling away from me. Zork says the funny thing is if Mickey just stayed down, he would have been arrested and got the fame he wanted. Yeah, you're right. I always think that, like, sometimes I don't know why when they come back for one final scare, they make themselves known like that, where they start like screaming as they charge towards them or whatever. Just stay down or creep up on them quietly. Jill also would have gotten what she wanted if she didn't snitch on herself. Yeah. That frustrates me every time. The fact that she was so stupid. She didn't even last like 5 seconds before she snitched on herself. What could have been if she just kept her mouth shut? Do you think if Sydney didn't shoot Billy in the head, could he have survived the gunshot to the shoulder? Absolutely. Yeah, we see that Scream characters survive crazy things. Like Chad has been stabbed like over 20 times and he survives. Dewey too. Like Dewey has been stabbed, I think he says 9 times in Scream 5. Yeah. Billy definitely could have survived before the shot to the head. R.I.P. Pam. I made it back. Pam went to kill Tatum real quick. I would never kill Tatum. I love Tatum. Speaking of Dexter, they messed up both potential endings, in my opinion. First time they turned him into a lumberjack. Second time they whacked him. That was a shame because Dexter New Blood was great. Yes, I agree with you. So I loved the show Dexter. The ending sucked. So when they announced that they were coming back like 2 years ago or whatever it was, I was so excited. The show itself was amazing. I thought Dexter New Blood was great until the ending again. Like, how could you come back, give yourself a second chance at rectifying what you did in the first show, and then mess up the end again? I can't believe they did that. I do think, though, that he could have survived that. Like, we see him bleeding out, but he could survive. And so shortly after the show ended, there was an article that they are open to doing a season 2. I don't know if it's going to happen. And, there's the prequel show that's coming out now. So maybe if the prequel is successful, they'll be open to doing a second season of New Blood. Or maybe even if the prequel isn't successful, they'll want to, do something else with season 2. Yeah, it's a shame they messed it up twice. You had another shot at fixing what you did. I think Stu killed Tatum. Yeah, so I always thought it was Billy. But there's this video on YouTube I just watched from the channel Nerds at Night, I think it's called, where they provided some proof that it could have been Stu. And now I'm torn. I don't know what to believe. What other Wes Craven movies have you seen? Got The Cursed on DVD for Christmas, but haven't watched it yet. So other than Nightmare on Elm Street and Red Eye, I don't think I've seen many Wes Craven movies, but Cursed, that's with Christina Ricci, right? And I think Skeet Ulrich is in it. I'm not sure. But that is on my list of things that I want to watch. Do we still get Leslie Mocker? I hope so. I hope so. There were those script leaks that Leslie and Christina were going to be in it. I don't know like how true that is, but I hope we can still get it. I don't know. There's so much story that can be told with Leslie and Christina. After going through so much, do you think it's a problem that Scream 7 will still be made by the same production company? I mean, kind of, just because there's so many people who are pissed off at Spyglass. It would have been cool if they could have like sold the rights so that we could get Melissa back, but obviously that's not happening. I'm just happy that Sydney's back, Still bummed about Melissa and Jenna, but at least we have Sydney rather than a bunch of newbies. Is Chad the new Dewey because in Scream 1 to 2 and 3, even 4, he got stabbed or injured and survived? Yeah, I think Chad is kind of supposed to be the new Dewey. I think Tara would have been like the new Gale in a way. They started dating in 6, so it sucks that we're not going to see their relationship in 7. I wonder if Chad will be in the story and like if he'll mention Tara and what happened between them. I don't know. Let's see what else we got. Oh, Skeet Ulrich was removed from the movie entirely and replaced with Joshua Jackson. Interesting. I did not know that. I need to give that movie a watch. I know a lot of people think Mark might be the Ghostface in Scream 7. What are your thoughts on that theory? So I'm not opposed to it. I feel like they won't do it just because, you know, the boyfriend thing has been done before. But I do have a couple theories on my channel about this. It definitely would be a big betrayal for Sydney. It would be different than the typical boyfriend thing because she married the guy, had kids with him, started a life. I do have some theories that he possibly was Roman's partner in 3. And either Roman died before they could reveal that Mark was his partner, or Mark gave up on the plan because he started to develop feelings for Sydney. So maybe Mark was Ghostface in Scream 3, and Sydney will find out in Scream 7. But maybe he hasn't been Ghostface since then. Like, I don't know. It is a little crazy and far-fetched, but still fun to talk about. I feel like they probably wouldn't do it. Who do you think will be Ghostface in Scream 7? Definitely Stu. But I'm sure there's going to be several others because of the whole cult thing. So I don't know. Maybe it depends. Like, are we going to have a time jump? Are Sydney's daughters going to be teenagers? Will some of the ghost faces maybe be friends of the daughters? I don't know. But definitely Stu. Have you watched Scream Legacy? I think so. That one fan film on YouTube where the main character is Sydney's daughter, if that's the one you're talking about. Stu was also the one that sent Tatum to get beers, I believe, in a deleted scene. That would have made it too obvious. So he did send her to get a beer. That made it into the movie. I don't know if Stu's the one who killed Tatum. I feel like the fandom is very divided on that now. I'll just assume Stu isn't coming back. I think he is. How many killers besides Stu? I don't know. So there's a rumor that it's going to be more than there were in Scream 6. Obviously, we got 3 in Scream 6, at least 3 official ones. Technically, there were 5 if you count Greg and Jason, which I do count Jason. I don't count Greg, however. I mean, I wonder how big the cult is going to be. Maybe it's going to be spread out across the country. So maybe there will be multiple killings being done across the country that maybe we won't even meet those ghost faces. Maybe we'll just hear about it on the news. So I don't know. There could be 5, there could be 7, there could be 20 for all we know. Depends how big the cult is. I mean, Stu's been building up this cult for almost 30 years. So we'll see. Have you seen the Scream Christmas fan film? I have not. I definitely got to get it into more fan films. Especially while we wait for Scream 7. Hey, Austin. I want to see a crossover with the characters from the TV show. I want to see an interaction between Sydney and Emma, and maybe have Brooke and Gail butt heads. That would be cool if some of the characters could be in Scream 7. I wonder if they would ever do that. I feel like it might be too complicated to do it, but definitely would be cool. $20 million cult members. There is no reason Stu can't come back. I agree. Do you think Scream 7 is going to be the last movie in the franchise, or do you think there will be a few more movies before it comes to an end? I definitely think there will be a few more, for sure. Especially as long as these movies keep making money. Definitely. And there is a rumor that 7 is the start of a new trilogy. Don't know how true that is, but yeah, apparently they're planning to make 7, 8, and 9. Wasn't the original premise of Scream 7 going to be where some ghost faces go after Sam and Tara in one, and the other goes after Sydney's family and Gail? Yeah, I think I heard something about that, where there would be like 2 separate storylines, kind of. I guess we'll never know. Or maybe one day they will kind of share the original script with us, the same way we just recently found out the original script for Scream 6 had Sydney been in the story. Reagan wants to see Linda Blair make another cameo. That would be cool. Is she still acting? I didn't like Piper in the Scream show. She was just like Roman 2.0, and her reveal copied Jill. I didn't mind her reveal. I kind of liked it. I definitely need to give the show a rewatch. It's been a while. Don't remember everything about it. And I do have quite a few people requesting that I do some videos on the show. But I just don't know. I feel like I don't know enough about the show to do much on it. I did do one video about it not too long ago, maybe like a month ago at this point. Like a theory that the show and the movies take place in the same universe, which I do believe has been confirmed by Radio Silence, because in an interview they talk about the Brandon James mask being on the subway, in the subway scene in Scream 6. I still think, same as you, the opening will be a flashback to Maureen's murder. I would love to see that. Yeah, I hope so. If Billy killed Tatum, why does he go back into the house? He could have gotten caught. He should have gone outside. So I think Stu killed Tatum. Yeah, definitely a valid point. I know Nerds at Night mentioned that in their video. I don't know. I don't know. I've been thinking about something. Could it be possible that Billy let Stu kill everyone? Like Billy was there, but Stu did all the kills so he could frame Stu more easily, like Roman told him to. Interesting. Maybe, although I do feel like Billy did some of the kills. I do think he's the one that initially stabs Casey. I always thought he was the one who killed Tatum, but now I'm not sure. That's a good point. Maybe he did. Maybe he did let Stu do everything. All right, so I am probably going to wrap up in the next like 5 minutes or so. Just letting you guys know. And I will try to get to everyone in the chat. Let's see. I think since Scream 7 is development hell, they should make a limited prequel series that follows Danny Johnson, the Ghostface from Dead by Daylight. I know this couldn't happen, but I hope. Yeah, I'm unfamiliar with the game. A lot of people always ask me about it. I've never played Dead by Daylight, but there are a lot of fans out there. So maybe one day they will do some kind of like a spin-off with Danny Johnson. Good to have you here. Thanks for joining. Unfortunately, we are going to end the stream shortly, but I have been doing like daily streams. So hopefully you can catch one of those. I probably will stream tomorrow. I'm not sure what time. I usually never really plan these things ahead of time. I kind of just go live when I get a chance. So definitely turn on notifications. Turn on all notifications for my channel. So anytime I go live, you will be notified. And you won't miss it. But thanks for stopping in. Bye, Zork. Thanks for joining us and for being a mod. I appreciate you. I hope they make 20 or 30 Scream movies. Maybe they will. You could do a Who Killed Who in season 1, maybe. Yeah, maybe when I rewatch it. Don't know when that's going to be, though. Sean says, I'd be fine with Scream 12. Stu in space. I don't know about that. Is Kevin Williamson the only person who can stay true to Wes's direction? 5 wasn't the same without Wes. Yeah, I feel like Kevin Williamson is the best person for the job at this point. You know, he created Scream, so I am very confident that Scream 7 will be great. How often do you hunt physical media? Could we get a vlog in the future? So I don't have a lot. I am interested in it though. I do want to start getting some. My dad actually just gave me a bunch of old DVDs. Nothing horror related though, I don't think. But yeah, I definitely want to start looking for some more physical media for sure. Do you have any Scream autographs? No, unfortunately. I gotta go to a convention one of these days, but there's never any near me. So I would have to like travel for it. Currently working on a Scream 7 movie title logo. Cool, I can't wait to see it. Hi, Paula. Thanks for hopping in. All right, so we've been going for about an hour and 40 minutes, which is awesome. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, guys. It's been a lot of fun. I probably will stream tomorrow. So, like I said, turn on notifications for my channel so you don't miss it. But yeah, I appreciate you guys being here, hanging out with me. I hope you have a good rest of your night. And I will talk to you all soon. Thanks.